Hello and welcome to Games, Gear, and Gadgets. This time I'm doing things a little differently. I'm going to present to you my personal list for the top 5 N64 hidden gems. Remember, these are solely my opinions, and I understand that not everyone will agree with me. So without further ado, let's begin.
Number 5.
Kicking off this list at number 5 is a game from Nintendo, and that game is Dr. Mario 64. How can a Mario game be a hidden gem, you may ask? Well, for starters, how often do you hear about Dr. Mario 64? If you live outside of North America, you probably haven't. That's right, this is a Mario game that never made its way to Japan, except as a port in 2003's Nintendo Puzzle Collection on the Nintendo GameCube. This was a rather late release on the N64, coming out in April of 2001. As far as I know, it was a budget title sold for around $30 US. This game differs from the original Dr. Mario NES game in a number of ways. The largest and most obvious way is that it supports 4 players on the screen at once. That can be 4 friends playing against each other at a party, or any mix of humans and computer-controlled players, up to 4. This makes for a very fun multiplayer party game, especially for those who are fans of the series, or fans of the puzzle genre in general. Alongside Pokemon Puzzle League, this is my other favorite puzzle game on the console, a genre which really was underrepresented in the N64's library. Also, there is a new story mode included in Dr. Mario 64. You can play as either Dr. Mario or Wario, and the plot revolves around Dr. Mario's stolen Mega Vitamins. It isn't anything spectacular, but there are rewards for completing the story mode without losing a single match, so I highly recommend finishing it with both Dr. Mario and Wario. In any case, this is a fairly unknown game, and it's sure to please anyone looking for some 4-player puzzle fun on their favorite 5th generation console.
Number 4.
Coming in at number 4 is a very strange and very ambitious game from Konami, known as Hybrid Heaven. I don't even know where to begin with this game. From its lengthy opening cutscene to its numerous plot twists, this game is just completely ridiculous. I don't want to try and spoil the plot here, but for the majority of the game you play as Secret Service agent Johnny Slater. Your goal is to unravel and foil a bizarre and complex plot of world domination, all in time to meet your girlfriend under the Christmas tree on the White House lawn on Christmas Eve. Hybrid Heaven combines multiple genres. As you travel around a subterranean complex, there is some basic platforming and gunplay. However, when you encounter an enemy, that's when everything changes. At this point, it becomes a strange action RPG/fighting hybrid. You can move in circles around an enemy, trying to get into a good position to grapple or attack. However, once you or your opponent presses a button, that's when you can start taking action. This puts you into a menu system where you can then use weapons, items, or moves or techniques. These techniques range from a variety of punches and kicks, or a larger assortment of advanced wrestling moves. Each body part can take damage individually, and each body part can be leveled up individually. Make sure not to take too much damage to the head, as that will leave you paralyzed for a short time, giving your enemy several free shots. While the graphics aren't anything particularly special, the gameplay is indeed quite novel, and this is a game that definitely could benefit from a current generation remake. Also, who wouldn't want to hear dialogue like this?
But man, put some clothes on, will you?
Or this.
Where to?
Washington, D.C.
Oh, that's pretty far to go, ain't it?
I'm in a hurry. This way's faster than getting on a plane.
Remastered in glorious HD audio. Until then, you should make an effort to find a copy for the Nintendo 64.
Number 3.
And the number 3 spot goes to Space Station Silicon Valley. This game is absolutely phenomenal. Developed by DMA Designs, better known today as Rockstar, the creators of the wildly successful Grand Theft Auto series, Space Station Silicon Valley is a game that really showcased their worth as a developer. The game is funny and it is fun to play. You control Evo, or what's left of him after your spaceship crashes and his robotic body is destroyed. All that remains of Evo is a small microchip capable of inhabiting and controlling the robotic animals around him. In your quest to reassemble Evo's body and ultimately save the world, you will travel through a variety of areas. There's a grassy section, an icy section, a swamp section, and a desert section. Each section is home to the numerous animals for you to control, and they're arranged over a small assortment of themed levels. You have to complete each objective in the level before the exit portal will activate. Once you've completed the objective, you simply need to make your way to the exit. However, the abilities or lack thereof for many animals often make this a challenge. You constantly will need to switch between one animal body and another. However, because Evo cannot survive long outside of a body, it often feels like solving a puzzle when figuring out how to get to certain areas. Overall, I'd say that your puzzle solving skills will truly be tested with this game, and if you haven't already, I do recommend checking this one out.
Number 2.
In the number 2 spot is Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. The Nintendo 64 unfortunately was not blessed with the masterpiece that is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. In 1999, we received 2 Castlevania games. The first was simply titled Castlevania. The second was Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. Many people at the time were rather unimpressed with the first N64 Castlevania game and didn't really pay much attention to Legacy of Darkness at all. In fact, IGN even gave Legacy of Darkness a significantly lower score, despite the fact that in their review they said, Castlevania Legacy of Darkness is better than Castlevania 64. It features a more complete quest, more characters, more levels, weapons, cutscenes, bosses, and even 4 MB expansion pack support. It's what Konami originally intended Castlevania 64 to be. However, in my opinion, in the context of the retro gaming scene, this really is the version you want to pick up. You have 4 characters to choose from instead of just 2. Cornell, who's the new main character really, well, his story takes place about 8 years before the original plot, and it showcases the events leading up to Dracula's return. Many levels are shared between Cornell's quest and the original quests of Reinhardt and Carrie. However, some levels are changed around a bit, and the way that you traverse them will be different depending on which character you're playing as. If you're looking for a solid 3D Castlevania game, this is the one. It certainly is better than any of the later 3D entries in the series, and it definitely is a hidden gem on the N64. However, it's starting to get up there in price a little bit, around $40 at the time that I'm putting this video up. So you better act fast and pick this one up.
Number 1.
And finally, the number 1 hidden gem on the N64 is Donkey Kong 64. Just kidding. I bet you did not know that there is a second N64 game with an NES emulator built in. Doubutsu no Mori, or Animal Forest, known in English-speaking regions as Animal Crossing, many people don't realize that the series got its start on the Nintendo 64. Only available in Japan, I'm saying this is a hidden gem to its obscurity amongst Western gamers. If you aren't familiar, the game is an open-ended life sim where you've moved into a village populated by anthropomorphic animals. It contains most of the features of the GameCube port, lacking only the museum and the Able Sisters tailor shop, and a few other minor things. Other than that, this version contains Japanese holidays and even a different set of Famicom games to play in emulation as opposed to the NES ones that are available in the American GameCube version. Since the Nintendo 64, unlike the GameCube, doesn't have a real-time clock, it's actually built into the cartridge. How cool is that? While you might not be able to understand the game's all-Japanese text, that shouldn't stop you from being able to fully upgrade your house, catch all of the bugs and fish, and do your daily shopping at Tom Nook's. Given that Animal Crossing is one of my favorite series of all time, I absolutely had to include this game at the top of my list. Well, that was my personal top 5 N64 hidden gems. Did you agree with my picks? Was there something you think I missed and should have included on the list? If so, leave a comment below. If you enjoyed my video and would like to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Games, Gear, and Gadgets, signing off.